Hey, what up? My name is Christopher Putong. This is the Humble and Dope Show with another video. And I came across this video that's kind of been going viral in China. I saw a neck shark that I want to react to and get my thoughts on. So here we go.
哥们儿干嘛呢？轻点啊！给他做那个抢救，快点快点，给他做抢救，给他做那个，对，赶紧赶紧。快点快点，赶紧给他抢救，我打120啊。
So, according to the caption, and I'm about to butcher this name, I'm not Chinese, well, I'm like a 12 Chinese. About as Chinese as a racist white dude it claims to be Native American, so forgive my pronunciation of this name. Exams can be retaken, but life cannot. Jiang Xiaoping, a student in Shandong, that's what he said, missed this crucial college entrance exam to save a classmate suffering a heart attack en route. Using CPR skills he learned in school, Jiang helped stabilize his friend while their driver sped through traffic to reach the hospital in just 7 minutes. Thanks to Jiang's quick actions, the student is now recovering. Education authorities are now arranging a makeup exam for Jiang. And this is from China Daily right here. And, shout out to that friend first off, because I can't imagine, um, being put in that situation, right, where your friend literally is having a heart attack or not. I can't imagine having a heart attack in college or for college. That's a scary proposition. But also shout out to that cab driver, that taxi driver, because I can't imagine picking someone up and all of a sudden having a medical emergency in the back. I don't know. There's training for stuff like that. Even when I was working at a church camp, I took CPR classes, and I'll be honest, I would not trust myself if something went down. So, shout out to that guy, and shout out to people running exams too. I know they're very stringent on that. Like they usually, to my knowledge, don't actually give out you know, another exam attempt without waiting until the next year, right? Or they don't usually reschedule. But the reason why I bring that up is, man, I think friendship is something that's talked about a lot, but it's something we really take for granted. On social media, I grew up in the days like MySpace, or at least the later end of MySpace, where Tom was your first friend, and then you could add a whole bunch of people, and they were your so-called friends too, right? I think I was friends with Soldier Boy back in the day, so maybe one day he'll be promoted to Soldier Man. Who knows? Facebook, I got a couple of thousand Facebook friends, and maybe 2 reactions on a post if I'm lucky, right? So friendship is really something that really it's part of life, but I feel like we take that so far for granted. I think the hard thing about friendship is it's rarely convenient. Now, it's easy to be friends when you guys are all going to the same school because you see each other, every day throughout the week, basically. Or you see, be friends, going through different clubs or church, temple, whatever, right? But when you're not in that routine, when you actually have to put an effort, then you'll see who your friends really are. And a lot of times, people that aren't your friends is not from a place of being malicious. 9 times out of 10, it's just a lot of times, and I learned this hard way, where the way I saw my friends, they didn't see me the same, and that's okay. You know, it wasn't a great feeling, but it's a part of life. You know, I think everyone experiences that. You know, when you graduate high school, then you realize like, oh, I'm not actually friends with a lot of these people. They're just people I was cool with. So, you know, for the few friends that I do have, you know, I just mentioned my close guy friends just for privacy's sakes. You know, whether it's my boy John or Devin, Andy. You know, I'm grateful for those guys because, especially with my situation, you know, I'm not an easy person to be friends with, but I also wasn't an easy person to be friends with before. You know, like with my girlfriend, who's also happens to be my best friend. You know, I'm not an easy person to be with, but she still sticks it out with me, and I'm grateful for that. With my brother, who is also I consider a best friend, I'm not an easy person to be a brother too, but you know, I always appreciate how much love he shows me, especially with guys like Alan and Santi that you see on the show. You know, these guys really did not have to be part of the show, be part of what we do in this podcast, but you know, it's just the love that they have, and I'm truly grateful. You know, my encouragement is, you know, for the friends you have in your life, whether they're friends from school, work, you know, friends that are also have to be part of your family, cherish them and do not take them for granted. But also, don't be friends with folks with ulterior motives. It's like the equivalent of being a nice guy with a girl thinking that'll lead to sex. And it's like, that's not cool, man. You know, if you're going to be a nice guy, you should do it because you're a nice guy, not because you have ulterior motives or an agenda. Same thing with being a friend. You shouldn't be a friend just because, you know, you think you'll get something out of it. You know, I know someone that came from money in high school. That, you know, I'm still faced with friends, but we're not super close nowadays, unfortunately. Well, I don't think we were ever super close, but they had money in high school. And I had heard that some people were just friends with him because he had money. And like I said, nice house, family had a restaurant and stuff. And, you know, that must have been a rude wake up call post graduation. We realized that folks weren't really rocking with them, like most folks were. I can't imagine how hard it is for people that do have money or have some kind of connections with folks that are famous or whatnot. You know, I got a family friend that's close to someone like they used to do. That was part of the makeup team. They used to be. They used to do work with Carrie Underwood, the country singer. Um, so I can't imagine what it's like to have folks that know you have those connections, you got those money, those resources, and try to figure out, oh, this is, you know, do I need to be on guard or do I need to test folks? So, you know, you got folks that you can trust, cherish them, but also understand that being friends with folks isn't going to be convenient most of the time. And that's where your true test of friendship is right there. You know, I had folks that were um, going out to different hospitals trying to ask around to see where I was at. You know, when was attacked and made to look like this. And I'm grateful for those guys, David, John, including especially Andrews. He went hard, and I'm grateful for just his friendship after all these years that all three of them uh, would really feel like they need to make sure I'm okay type of deal. And if you don't have those kind of friends out there, uh, uh, you know, it's not because you're not deserving of friendship or anything like that. Just need to, you know, find your group, find your circle, your niche, whatever, you know. put yourself out there, get into some clubs, find people with mutual interests. They got Facebook groups where you can meet up with folks for just every kind of hobby. If you're in anime, they got anime cons. In the sports, go to certain games. You know, if you're something more casual, and go to the park. There's always like pickup basketball games, soccer games, volleyball games. All these things where you can meet folks and slowly build a routine of seeing folks on a more consistent basis. Or if you're even like just shy, you're not the most extroverted person. There's ways to meet people online. Gaming's one. Got mutual interests, people that have similar passions for music, things like that. Just be sure that you don't get involved with bad people. Obviously, uh, was it one bad apple swallows a bunch type deal. And you don't want to be spoiled by folks that really just aren't good for you. People that are toxic, but not so. Just be mindful. But good folks are out there. Folks that you will, if you put in the time and the effort, that will care about you. If you take the time, to put yourself out there and care about them. But let me know what you think. Do you have friends that rock with you? Do you have people that you would rock with, take care of, vice versa? Uh, what do you think about the guy in the video? Is he the greatest friend of all time? What about that cab driver? And also, you think that dude passed his exams or not? Let me know what you think. Make sure you like and subscribe. Until the next video. Love you guys.